Hey everyone, it's Ella back with another character for the Draw This in Your Style battle. So for today's character, I decided to go with a full body reference. I've been trying to work on my anatomy again. I kind of go through these cycles where I do like realistic anatomy and then I try to work on cartoon anatomy and like back and forth and back and forth. So this week, I decided to try to do some more realistic anatomy. So I was looking off of a reference picture of a ballerina, as you can probably tell from the pose that will eventually come out of this character. And I think that it turned out really, really well. I was so excited with it actually that I posted it on my Instagram the day that I did it, which is not something that I normally do with the style battles. But I figured it was kind of, how we say, like, I don't want to say plain, but I took off the color swatches, so hopefully you couldn't really tell that it was like a style battle reference picture. I don't think anybody noticed or really cared, to be honest. I've also recently been watching some tutorials talking about painting realistic skin tones, which is always something that I've wanted to work on, and I found that really, really helpful. So you'll see later on in the video I use one of those tips and tricks, but armed with some of that new knowledge, I was like, okay, this is a fun time for me to work on a more realistic drawing, because I feel like when you do, of course, realistic drawings, you need very realistic skin tones, and then when you're doing more cartoony drawings, you can kind of get away with doing some weird skin tones. I mean, think about like The Simpsons, all the characters are like yellow. You can see here, at first, I don't know what I was thinking. I was trying to make the hair look like she was in motion, like she was moving, and then I was like, wait a second, she's not moving right now. I'm stupid. She's actually more like stretching, if anything. So then I fixed what I was doing with the hair. And then I went in, and obviously because she's a ballerina, the clothes that she was wearing in the reference picture were, your typical ballerina, like leotard and leggings. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to try to like push myself a little bit. So you'll see I do sweatpants, which I still looked up some reference pictures to kind of get an idea of how the fabric with sweatpants handle, but it was still out of my own imagination, so I was kind of proud of how those turned out. I find clothing wrinkles and fabrics to be really, really difficult to use sometimes. So then you can see here, I go in and I start laying in the colors. I'm still kind of doing that thing where everything's just been sketchy lately. If you've seen my Instagram posts, you'll notice that I've been doing a lot more of that with just like textured pieces. And I kind of like the way that it looks. If you scroll down through my Instagram, you'll notice a lot of my older pieces are like just pencil sketches and they're very messy. And sometimes you just get in the mood to do really messy drawings. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and I can't wait to see what Emily does with the character.
Hey everybody, it's Emily. This week Ella was serving the base character, so of course I get to go second. I really enjoyed drawing her character in my own way this time. I always do, but this time I think it was really cool because I got to play with the story a little bit more, which I haven't been doing as much lately. I've just been drawing her character completely in my style, not really adding anything to it. But this time I wanted to have some of her motivation, since she was quite obviously a dancer of some sort. And since Ella didn't specify, I kind of took it upon myself to do more of a contemporary style character. So I wanted to demonstrate in some way the inner turmoil of the character that Ella presented me with. Ballet and contemporary dances and dance in general is really challenging mentally and physically, and I feel like especially when you're trying to make it at first, it can be very difficult on a person's like mental state. I feel like it was important to show the battle with who she is and who she wants to be. The girl on the right is her in her, sort of natural state. She's wearing comfy pajamas, she's showing her passion for dance, not necessarily presenting it to everybody, but she's showing that she wants it, throughout her entire life. And also the polka dotted shorts and her kind of childish appearance kind of lends to think that this is like she's more laid back, not necessarily immature, but she doesn't have that adult nature to uphold herself. She still has a lot of these fantasies of her being this majestic dancer, which then leads into the left personification of her character being her where she wants to be, very elegant, more mature, just overall graceful, whereas in her right self she's sort of kneeling to her left presence because she sees that as the ultimate kind of being of herself instead of her self now being kind of the superior being. And I think it was really cool to play with that. There are definitely some things I think I could have executed a little bit better. For instance, I think my line work gets very sloppy in some parts, but I also think that I could have maybe been a little bit more figurative with it instead of keeping it so tight. The line work wasn't as neat, but I think that being a little bit more ambiguous with what the two characters were could have lent to the kind of unclear mindset of the dancer herself. Because obviously she doesn't know exactly who she's going to be, but she has a picture of it. And I think much like her kind of persona of herself, it should have been left more ambiguous. But I think the overall piece, it's a good start to what I want to do. I might come back to it later on and maybe paint it in a picture, maybe with oils, because I can get a pretty nice set on that. Anyway, thanks for watching, you guys, and I'll see you Monday. Thank you for watching another video on the official Artsy Art YouTube channel. Make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to wash your paintbrushes.